Get ready for Netflix's gripping new medical drama, Pulse. Set in a cutting-edge Miami trauma center, third-year resident Dr. Danny Sims is unexpectedly thrust into a promotion when beloved chief resident Dr. Xander Phillips gets suspended. Then, with the emotional and physical stakes at their highest, a storm will push the hospital and its residents to their limits. Witness how life can change in a heartbeat when you're operating under pressure. Watch Pulse April 3rd, only on Netflix.
I can say to my new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, hey, find a keto-friendly restaurant nearby and text it to Beth and Steve. And it does, without me lifting a finger. So I can get in more squats anywhere I can. 1, 2, 3.
Will that be cash or credit?
Credit. 4.
Galaxy S25 Ultra, the AI companion that does the heavy lifting so you can do you. Get yours at Samsung.com. Compatible with select apps. Requires Google Gemini account. Results may vary based on input. Check responses for accuracy.
100 We are the audience. As much as we hate to see them coming in drunk to our gigs, but we do.
It's a bloody disgrace.
We see a bit of ourselves in them.
Well, they're spending money and you're getting some of it.
Definitely we want to smash the myth that musicians are somehow enlightened, better, above everyone else. It's not true. Yeah. So anyone can do it. Anyone can sing. Actually, everybody can sing and everyone should sing. Well, exactly. And look how well he's doing.
I'm doing great.
It's with heart. If you do something with heart, I think that we all have this intuition, you know, and it's something I speak with a lot of my friends about and my partner. We're like, hey, all right, what do we want to fucking do with our time on this earth? Yeah. And so to actually think about that is radical. It's like, okay, well, that's a big part of it for me, recognizing what's real. And even though that sounds like totally vague.
Yeah.
And no, it's the truth.
Yeah.
Like, honesty is the most important thing. And then furthermore, you know, you can get very distracted on the internet by looking at people who are successful, but have always been kind of en route to success or whatever success looks like. You know, I'm using that as a loose term. So you can get distracted by that. But honestly, I do believe if you just follow your heart, as cringy as it sounds to say, but I mean it, like you just need to trust the little niggling thoughts in the back of your head.
It sounds kind of basic, but like if you like doing something and you spend loads of time doing it, you're going to be better at doing that than spending loads of time doing something you don't like. Yeah. So if you don't like your job and you're wasting a load of time doing it, it's just not good for anyone. You might as well do what you want to do.
Now it's a problem because no universal credit officer is going to tell you that.
No, although I did, when I was on the dole in Ireland, I did say, I started asking the person I had if they were aware that we're all going to die. I was like, I'm going to die at the end of this. And if you really think that I should be concerned with getting a full-time employment position in like a factory or something, I was like, I don't care about that. I'm going to follow my dreams. If you want me to stop following my dreams, I understand that's your job. But it worked kind of. She was just like, yeah, you're right in fairness.
Can't really argue against that.
No, you can't.
It's quite honourable to say that because I think a lot of people, I don't think many people disagree with that. But getting past what people have learned, what we've all learned as kids and how we identify and what we should be doing.
Yeah.
And like, you're basically going into like an alternative subculture lifestyle. And that's a really difficult thing to go through when you've learned all that stuff.
But even like the whole education system trains you from when you're a tiny child to accept that you're not going to follow your dreams in a way, like that you should go to college and you should do what you're told. And if it's anything outside of the box of like what fits the education system, then you're not supposed to want to do it. And it's just it doesn't fit everybody. So it's you have to unlearn the kind of negativity of like, you can't do this, how would you possibly do this, you know? Are
you fully there yet within yourself? Obviously you did that.
I think I've been like fully there since I was a child. Like, honest to God, I think I used to refuse to go into school when I was, when I was a child even, I don't think I was, like, it took years for me to go, I was skipping school all the time and causing trouble and stuff like that. Not so much trouble only to myself, but, you know, it was because I disagreed with that from the beginning in my soul. And only now after years, I'm like, do you know what? I was right. Like, just kick against it because... You know, if you're a child, I remember even when I was a child feeling so alone in it because adults who are successful don't go, fuck school, you know what I mean? But fuck school a wee bit, like, you know.
Big time. I got an older brother and sister and I'm fortunate to have them 5-7 years older than me. They went down the route of doing what people told them to do and it didn't get them anywhere. And now at this age, they're like, they're all turning it around, you know, like they've gone back to gone back to one, you know, in a good way. In a good way.
But it's disappointing as well when people are told this thing that like, oh, if you go to college and you keep your head down, you do your work in school and in college and all, then you'll have what you want and you'll achieve your dream and you'll get the job you want and all. And the reality of it is you get out of college and then a lot of times you have to do internships or you have to do whatever jobs, and rent is so expensive now, it's hard to actually live within what you've been promised. And I kind of feel bad for people who like work really hard at a job they want to do or something, and then they can't afford to live in their own city or like whatever. So it's important to just not take heed to people.
In a way, it's getting easier. The fact that they're just, I'm just going to check these levels actually.
Same.
Fucking paranoid. Usually on my own. I get like, that's the problem of being trained as a producer and then kind of doing the presenting. It's like, well, I'm always fucking bad. But it almost makes it easier now that everything's getting more expensive and renting is unaffordable, because it's like, well, what's the alternative to do something I want to do?
In a way, it's kind of exciting to like be in a time where it's so unbearable to live that you might as well just try and do what you want to do. But
it's rare now that the idea of the nuclear family, like, that can't exist, you know, unless you already have money. Like the idea of having, you know, a partner and kids and a dog, 2 cars, the garage, you know, like that's unachievable to most people. So now people are like, well, I suppose if I got a van, I could probably live in that. Do you know what the fucking trouble is that now rich cunts are going, I want to buy a little van and do it up, you know.
I'd love a little van.
So everything, they ruin everything. Now vans are mad expensive. Fucking rich people ruin everything. That's the trouble.
Yeah.
As songwriters, I don't think it's too much of a tenuous link, but, you know, taking yourself seriously and working out what you are, what kind of artist you are. For you, it's like a mix of trad, Irish songs, and a couple of originals thrown in there.
Yeah.
What's that mix? How do you kind of arrange that in your brains? How do you speak to each other about it? Like, do you carry on? Do you want to write more originals? Do you want to keep on doing trad
Definitely,
stuff?
I think we're going more originals. I think I'm just, like, we've both learned so many ballads over the last few years that, like, I think we're just at a time where we want to get back to writing our own songs and, like, definitely push it a bit more into the rock and roll side of things.
Yeah.
And I don't know, see what happens, really. What do you think?
You know, we can't help but be influenced by this sort of stuff. And in the first place, we'd only learn songs that are kind of speak to us anyway, that we could agree with and that are relevant still to our lives now, which could be 400 years old, you know, which is kind of disappointing that 400 years ago, you know, the songs were still about landlords and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a journey. Being on the road so much, I think, for me personally, makes it hard to be more creative or focused on writing. Okay. You know, I write, but it's not with kind of a goal in mind so much. But
is that finding days or hours in the days, I mean, where to just sit down and write and ruminate, be there with your thoughts and write, okay, how I'm going to write a song for me.
I don't think I'd ever really sit down and go, I'm going to write a song. I'd probably have to.
You need to sneak up on yourself. Like, you can't, like, I think if you anytime you try and sit down to write a song, it's probably good practice to make you better at, like, stringing the words together when you do get a good idea. But I think, like, if you try and force yourself to write a song, it's just going to be shite. Like, you kind of need to play hard to get with it or something, like, and let it just, like, you know, let it.
And inspiration needs to find you working.
Yeah, definitely.
I was watching a David Lynch interview recently where he was saying it's like fishing, and it's, for me, it definitely is. Like, if you try and create under pressure, for me personally, and the right kind of pressure, like, can make you creative, but stress to go, oh, I need to write this now. It's like, you're not going to write, you're going to write shite songs. Yep. We've done that.
But in another way, I think, like, you kind of need to write a load of shit songs before you write a good one. So in a way, even if you're like, if you are in a practice of writing loads of songs, when you do get a good idea, rather than just having 2 verses, you might be able to write like 5 verses, you know. So it probably is good to do a bit, but I don't think it's not that exciting trying to write something if you don't have something that you actually are excited about or care about. So you can't fake it, like, I suppose. To
be honest, it's the same feeling, actually, going back to, like, following your heart or trusting yourself, is that it's those subconscious thoughts that tell you that you should pursue something are the same thoughts that tell you to pursue a certain creative idea, like down to the minuscule thing of, I should write a song about this. It'll be in your head. For me personally, it could be a year, just constantly coming back. I think Stephen King said that if he thinks of the worst thing for him is if an idea keeps coming back into his head, because then he has to write a book about it. You know,
and hopefully, but you know, you've thought about it so much that in your brain you've carved out a really good picture of it, and so you know exactly what you want to say.
Yeah, that is definitely a big thing. I think sometimes it's hard to know whether your ideas are good enough or not, or like whatever. But like I remember even Jinx Lennon was saying to me a while ago that like I was talking to him kind of about writing songs, and he was saying, I was saying like, I don't know what's a good song or what's a bad song, but he was saying the things that come back to you over and over again is probably the good ideas, and the bad ideas are the ones that you just think of once and then you totally forget. Don't even remember the words of it the next day or whatever. But if you can remember it after you write it, it's probably more impactful, like, which is a good point.
We don't have loads of time, and this last question is quite a big one, but it's about like civic pride, being proud of where you come from. And a lot of people coming to the show tonight. I remember the last time I saw you, I was at the pub afterwards, and there was big like, you fucking cunt, you're from there. And so there is a negative side to it. There's also a positive side to it. I feel that within me and our friends, it's like, you know, England is a country of racists. England is a country that has made so many bad decisions and will doubtlessly continue to do that. But I still love going to the pub and I'm watching England do all right in the Euros.
You have to love where you come from, you know, like you have to. And in the world today, you know, things are kind of becoming a monoculture in a weird sort of way. And racists all over the world, whether it be in Ireland or England or whatever, they're all saying the same things now. They're not related to England anymore. They're worldwide. Just the same phrases over and over again. But you do have to be proud of where you come from, no matter where it is.
So I suppose, like,
you know,
like where you come from is a reflection of you. Like you are where you come from. So like if you're not proud of where you come from, you can't be proud of yourself. Then you need to accept even the kind of embarrassing or ugly parts of where you come from and everything. It's like it's all part of what makes you. So you have to just accept it and believe in your people and yourself.
Don't move away to a city and change your accent, because inside you're going to grow black, cold, rotten in your soul. You know, that's like something that we've always thought about. Is like we won't live anywhere else, I don't think, other than Dundalk. And when we started really wanting to pursue music, we were like, should we move to Manchester or London? And we were like, what the fuck is wrong with us? Like, why are we moving to these places? You don't have to anymore as well, you know. Everything can happen in your bedroom. Give your town a chance.
I like what you said about enjoying the bad parts of it, because we do that about ourselves, and that is, you know, not to make this some kind of pseudo, you know, therapy session, but it is like everyone should know it. Look at the parts you don't like, question why, think about it, sit with it.
Like it's I suppose living in smaller towns and stuff is like, oftentimes you're forced into situations where you have to hang out with people who have different opinions and stuff like that. And like sometimes you can end up being in like a bit of a cloud where you're just with people who have the same thoughts and tastes and ideas. So like it's good to have a bit of abrasion, and it's good to have people you disagree with around you and stuff. So it's another good thing about living in a smaller place. Like
I could love a good debate. I debate with my partner all the fucking time. It's tiring, but it's actually quite fun. Speaking about part-time jobs, my fiance Eva has just got a job working as a Harry Potter tour guide in central London. She's German, so she's taking the German crowds around. What are the best or the worst side hustles you've done? I know we chatted about it a couple of years ago, but
I make t-shirts, but I think the worst side hustle we ever had was that it was Mary Wallopers' side hustle. But a local brewery asked us, do I need to stop for that?
No.
That was a Mandem, I think.
It's Brixton.
Yeah, Brixton. But no, so a side hustle that we did have was Mary Wallopers one. It was the worst side hustle ever. And this is no shade on the brewery now, but they gave us some drink that we relabeled as Mary Wallopers drink. It was Christmas pudding stout.
Yeah.
And my God, it was foul. It was disgusting. And even like a local pub in town, Mocara, I'll shout them out. They were selling it in draft, and people were coming in and going, let me try it. And everyone was like, I'm not drinking that. One night, me and Dara, our friend Dara, were drinking it in our house, because we have still like probably 200 bottles of the stuff, you know. And I
once got one of those Wilco kits and made some homemade cider, took it to the house gig, was selling it for £2.50 a bottle. I called it Weeping Eye. I went up to the toilet halfway through the party and everyone was queuing outside, and I was like, okay, they're all carrying these bottles. It was giving everyone the shits.
When I drank mine, our tongue and our mouth went numb. We were like, we should probably stop drinking
a long time. But we went to pick them up. He was like, how many do you want? And we were like, give us like 600. So we went with our van and we didn't realize how many glass bottles that was. But the van was absolutely rammed and he kept giving us like tasters of different drinks and we were fucking steaming coming back. But it was a hard side hustle. We got the drink very cheap.
Cars
I kind of buy and sell cars a little bit. Sometimes I make money, but I'm into old cars. So like do up old cars and then sell them on, fill up the garden and then empty it and then fill it up again. But we're always buying and selling used vehicles. So you're doing it as well. Cash is king. Yeah.
Hey, someone's going to knock on. You're going to play tonight at the Brixton Academy, which is fucking
very excited.
Awesome. This place.
Yeah, I've never been here. So neither of you. Have you ever seen it?
No, I've never been here, but obviously it's such an iconic venue, so it's class to be.
Look in the rafters. There's some like Shakespearean kind of 12th night sort of ghouly stuff up there.
Yeah,
that I noticed, I've been coming here since I was 15. I noticed it like 10 years in because it's kind of in the shadows.
Yeah. The set's cool. Like the surrounding of the stage.
Big time.
Deadly.
Final question. What is the secret to health and prosperity?
There's no secret.
Go to the pub every day and drink about 40 pints of it. No.
You know what? Everyone's trying to sell fucking wellness nowadays. Here's some mushroom tablets that makes you smarter. But if you buy mushroom tablets, they don't make you smarter. There is no secret to health. You just need to eat a balanced diet and get exercise. And who wants to do that? Not fucking me. But there's no secret. There's no secret. Just trust yourself.
And speaking of which, there are going to be some sore heads tomorrow. What's your favourite go-to film when you've got a really poorly head the next day? You're hanging.
I think my two favourite films would be The Wicker Man and Wake in Fright. So probably being hungover and feeling a bit wiry, wanting to watch psychological horror films probably doesn't help, to be honest. But
well, recently we've been playing Kingdom Come Deliverance too. It's a medieval PlayStation game with our friends, so that's what I'd like to do. Because for 8 hours you can pretend that you're not dying hungover after drinking with alcoholics all night.
I felt that with Game of Thrones. I felt part of it, and all of a sudden the world made a lot more sense.
That's good. I'm seeing videos on this tour of that video game being played, and it's making me homesick.
Yeah, PlayStation's a big one for us.
Great.
Yeah.
Charles and Andrew, thank you very much.
Thank you.
101 Part-Time Jobs.
Bye.
Bad
Cheers.
boy. Nice one. Cheers for watching. This is 101 Part-Time Jobs. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, and all podcast apps. We've done interviews with Aurora, Kneecap, Idols, Lauren Maybury of Churches, and loads more. So tap into 101 Part-Time Jobs on Spotify, Apple, and all podcast apps.